So I decided to make this video because I was inspired by a conference I watched on the net some time ago, made by a funny professor, where he speaks about the marriage counselor, he speaks about marriage, courtship, and the key things about life. And in this video, I will just focus on what I would call the 7 keys of courtship or dating. But before jumping into those 7 keys, I wanted to start with a distinction that he made that I liked a lot between falling in love with someone and loving someone. And he distinguished it in 2 ways. He said, first of all, that when we fall in love with someone, it doesn't require an act of the will that or effort. That one is infatuated, one is attracted to someone. Whereas in loving someone, one makes an act of the will, saying, "But I will love this person." The second difference he pointed out, which is also very interesting, I think when I fall in love with someone, I'm not necessarily interested in the person's personality because I'm attracted. But whereas when I love someone, I'm interested in that person's personal growth and that person improves. And when one falls in love with someone and one says, okay, now I want to go out with this person with that idea to love that person in courtship or in dating, is a prudential act and a wise act that one wants to carry out in order to verify 2 things. One, that one has common ideas or a vision of life that one can share with that other person. And then secondly, that love, which is now that act of the will, can be integrated between the 2 persons and that they can grow in love for each other, and that grows in love that leads to marriage. And now we jump into the 7 keys of dating or courtship. And the first one is honesty. And when I speak about honesty or sincerity with the other person, it's good to point out to the person, look, I'm not going out with you because I want to have fun, or because everybody's doing it, or because I have compassion for you. But I'm doing it because I'm looking for someone that I want to spend the rest of my life. And that's a starting point. But also, honesty, sincerity, it includes many other things about myself, about my environment with the other person, that they are sincere to each other. The second key is what I would like to call authenticity. Authenticity being I am myself, but not just I am myself and I let the person know me as I am. Authenticity in the sense that I also want to improve and I also want to help that person to improve. The third key is what I would call accord, or you could call it to reach certain agreements about how they do certain things, about how they work together, about how they relate to each other. But also that accord should include how they show affection to each other and up to what point, so that nobody feels that the other person is abusing or blackmailing the other person. The fourth key is what I would like to call an equality. Equality, which of course nowadays is a term is banned around a lot, and I will not waste too much time speaking about it. But the bottom line there is to say, look, that in that relationship, that nobody feels that well, I'm the more important person in this relationship, that they treat each other as equals. The fifth key is what I like to call openness, that they are open to each other. But that not an openness which is like sincerity that we mentioned earlier on, but an openness in the sense that when the 2 parties, the boy and the girl or the man and the woman, they look at each other, they're not just looking at each other and then they are close to what happens around them, but that relationship is open, not to other people taking their place, but open in the sense that they do things together. And they should be open to others, open to helping others. And so that the things that they do together should also include other people in terms of, for example, well, I want to go and visit an orphanage, I want to go and visit this sick person, or this my relative, or this other person's relative, that they get to know each other's family members, friends, and they are friends of this other person's friends, or they try to be friends with other person's friends. And also that they commit themselves together to help other people. That's what I mean by being open. So that's not just a relationship that is closing on itself. The sixth key has to do with handling their differences. that they need to learn to handle their differences. Not just that okay, we have so many things in common, but certainly they have differences because there are not two people that are alike. And in that period of courtship, it's also good that they discover their differences. But not just that they discover their differences and incompatibility, but also sufficient time to know how to deal with those differences. I remember hearing a friend once say that well, the difference between marriage and friendship is that when two friends have a disagreement or a quarrel, they both go to their houses to cool off. But when a man and his wife have a quarrel, they're going to the same house, so they have to figure out how they're going to live in that house. And so it's important that well that while they have their differences, while they discover their differences, also learn how to deal with those differences and see whether they can deal with them in the long term. And that leads to the seventh and final point, which has to do well. They've gone out for some time, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. I hope it's not more than 2 years anyway. But at some point, one has to decide whether to take the next step to marriage or not. And if one has taken care of those 6 keys, then it's easier to say, well, I'm not going to continue this, and maybe it's better that I break. So, in summary, the 7 keys of courtship again, I've just listed. I said, first of all, honesty. Secondly, authenticity. Thirdly, accord. Fourthly, equality. Number five, openness. Number six, learn to deal with your differences. And then number seven, take that decision to continue on. I hope this video has been useful to you if you are considering that going to a relationship or you are already in one. May God bless you.